Nothing crazy exciting today. Just billeting out, which means I've got some Damascus I've made, and it's approximately ½ inch thick by 1.25 inches wide, 1.5 inches wide, and I'm going to try to make it into a usable knife billet, so I can make 3-4 knives out of this billet. That's my goal. It's 1084, and I don't know, it's actually probably L6 and 15N20. So it's not going to have the greatest color contrast, but it'll have good color contrast. And all I'm doing is stretching it out. Now, if you're a beginning blacksmith or bladesmith, whatever you are, and you're going to pound out knives, you need to be able to draw stuff out. You need to be able to taper, and you know I'm gonna use I have a treadle hammer. That's the most advanced piece of equipment I have. I don't have a power hammer, but I've got a cross peen hammer that I can draw stuff out with, and I'm gonna use that and the anvil and hammer, and I'm gonna try to get it to about a little under 3/16 of an inch thick. Then I can surface it and make a knife out of it. But I'm going to try to build this out. I don't have a ton of time today, but we'll get done what we get done. So, billet's in the forge. I just got to get it up hot enough so I can move some metal. I'm trying to stretch it out. I'm going to pack it a little tighter on the width. I've got some gauges that I use. These are my width gauges, nothing fancy. I just put it in my post vise, and this is my thickness gauge. One's a 1/4 inch, the other's 3/16. So if I can get it through the 3/16, I'm generally pretty happy. But we'll start out with the 1/4. I'm not ready to start gauging stuff really, but it won't be long, hopefully. All right. I'm going to adjust this camera a little bit so you can see the anvil anyway. We're going to start out on the anvil, and then we're going to go to then I'm going to go to the treadle hammer. But using the pointy side of the hammer, I'm going to draw it out. By hitting it with the pointy side, I'm pushing that metal away from me while in both directions. And it's important that you hit both sides of the piece of steel. Otherwise you'll end up, if it's in layers, you'll end up with thick layers and thin layers. And ideally you'd have all the same size layers. This is like at 64 layers right now. And I'm happy with that for this one. That's kind of what I was looking for. Well, if you want to, you can measure your billet out. I didn't, but I'm going to know it's longer just by where I put it back into the fire. By hitting it with the flat side of the hammer, I'm drawing it out also, but I'm drawing it out in 4 directions, lengthwise and widthwise on both sides. So just something to keep in mind. Like right now you can see the pushes I put in there with the pointy side of the cross peen. We got to get back into the fire. kind of in the middle of making Damascus right now, and this is a good time to do this because I need to build up the coke level in the forge. I really don't have a lot of really good, ready to go coal. Green coal doesn't quite burn as hot as, green coal doesn't burn as hot as coked out coal. Like they use coked out coal to make steel, right? They still do. Some of it's electric, some of it's gas, but most of it's still made with coal. And this is bituminous, it'll coke out. Anthracite really doesn't. So I can get this hotter than I could get anthracite coal. I have some anthracite coal, and I'll use it to do more blacksmithing type stuff instead of forge welding kind of stuff, because it's hard to get it hot enough to forge weld. More air I give it, more heat I get. I'm not trying to rush it, but this next one I'm gonna, if I alternate cycles, my legs don't get too tired, my arms don't get too tired. So this next one I'm gonna go to the treadle hammer. This is the anvil of the treadle hammer, and I'm gonna draw it out with this side. I can also draw it out with this, but I'm gonna use this part, and then I've got the flat. So pretty handy little tool. Just like that, little foot pump, and it's ready to go. But I'm gonna put gloves on now because that anvil gets a little hot, and if it goes well, I'll go from drawing it out to flattening it a little bit, and maybe get on that edge a little just to keep the width I'm looking for. I'm gonna do it one more crank. Lost her there. All right. The reason I'm building up a level of coke in the forge now instead of when I go to forge weld is green coal, like fresh coal, or fresh coal out of the ground. Anyway, it's got, when it's burning off impurities, those impurities can attach to the steel, and then it will keep you from being able to get a good weld when you're forge welding. So I try to have a lot of coke built up. I do believe that I can add coal while I'm forge welding as long as I keep the air going and it's blowing the impurities hopefully out the stack. So I don't know. I'm not sure if that's the way my dad taught me. I can't tell you for sure that I don't get a few impurities stuck to the steel. I'm sure I do, because I've got failures from time to time, but anyway, hopefully I don't. Hopefully it all works out really well. This is a pretty good billet. Yesterday I actually burned off a section of it. Yesterday I got it too hot and I burnt that off, and honestly I'm not very happy about it. That billet I might have been able to get 5 knives out of, and now I guess I hope to get 4, but we'll see. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of work to burn something off, but at least I didn't burn it off in the middle, and like I said, I'm not happy, but if you're not paying attention and not careful, you're working at very high temps and you end up with that. So you don't want that. All right, looks good. I'm gonna put it back. I'm gonna start hitting it again. Oh. All right, here we go. You check out my Facebook page, Hemlock Street Forge. There's some videos of me billeting out, or at least forge welding, chainsaw chain, cable. I'm on all of it. TikTok, Instagram. Give me a follow. Give me like the stuff, follow it. That's how it spreads around. So share it, please. But while this is heating up again, there's a video on the making of this. This is a piece of forge welded cable, and it's got some work left to do, but started out like that, piece of 1.25" cable, and I don't clean it up. There's a lot of guys that spend a lot of time cleaning up material to forge weld with, and if I was doing layers, I clean those up, but cable, chainsaw chain, I don't clean it up at all. I use quite a bit of flux though, and that kind of creates a problem sometimes, but step outside of your comfort zone a little bit, and maybe you can find a better way to do it, right? Or an easier way to do it. So 1 second here. There's also a chainsaw chain billet video, and you know, this is how I do that. And it's not cleaned up at all. It's not, there's some rust there. It's gonna burn off in the forge. I could start, I'd start a lot of arguments with a bunch of blacksmiths or bladesmiths over how to do that. But honestly, you don't have to. You know, this is right off the bar of a chainsaw, and you know, it's gonna be like that, and before long it's gonna be a etched piece of steel that I make a blade out of. So anyway, keep watching, follow along if you will. Alright. I want to move the camera here. I'm going to go back to the anvil with the next cycle. Not that my legs are tired. I can handle some more time on the treadle hammer, but I can move metal a little quicker with a hammer. Not a lot quicker, but a little quicker. All right. I'm hoping it's good. We'll find out. Next one, we'll go back to the treadle hammer. Again, not because I'm tired, but I put some pretty deep divots in there that I want to try to draw out. So treadle hammer is the best tool for that. So we'll do it that way. And I'm even going to do it like I'm drawing it out some more, but that anvil on the treadle hammer is relatively flat. It's not as violent. It's not as violent as this shape. This shape, you know, puts definite divots in it. The treadle hammer draw out and part of the anvil is kind of soft, so it'll draw it out a little easier. I'll do both sides that way, and then I'll put it down in the flat side and flatten it out a little bit, and then the next cycle after that I'll do it the same way. And we'll see where we get with that end of the billet anyway. And yes, it does get hot. But I'm in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, and it was 50 degrees in here in the shop when I started, and now we're up to about 66 in the shop. But I'm starting to sweat a little bit. But all right, here we go. That's going to be it for this video. We'll see how this does, and if this does okay, we'll do some more. All right, thanks for watching. Follow along, Facebook, TikTok, Instagram, whatever social media you're on. I'm Hemlock Street Forge is probably on it. So please give us a like, share, follow, whatever. Thanks. Bye.